All right, here we go. Brady Rasmussen. On August 28, 1776, after their retreat from Long Island, where were George Washington and his Continental Army cornered? Brooklyn Heights. Is that correct? My God.
Well, miracles do happen.
That's right. Okay, Elliot. Who did General Washington turn to for assistance in getting his soldiers, horses, and supplies across the East River during their retreat to Manhattan Island?
John Glover.
John Glover. Very good. Delaney, give me one of the two things that General Washington ordered his men to do that would deceive the British to think they were still camped during the retreat across the East River.
They kept all the campfires burning.
Very good. Michaela, give me the second thing they did.
They rolled empty barrels back and forth to make British think they're building churches.
Very good. Perfect. Emily, give me the first example of how Mother Nature assisted General Washington during his retreat across the East River to Manhattan.
Is it that it was very dark?
I thought it was because of the wind.
Oh, the wind.
Okay, she's answering it, Ivan. Thank you, though, for assisting her. So what is it, Emily? What was the first break they got?
Wind.
What about it?
The British fleet was going with
What fleet?
the British fleet.
Okay, they got what type of wind? Where'd it come from? Southern wind that kept the British fleet from getting into the East River that would have surrounded General Washington and made it impossible for him to escape. That's a great answer there. Okay, Kristen, what was the second act of Mother Nature that gave George Washington a break in getting his troops across the East River to Manhattan?
Thick overcast.
Okay, and what'd that make it?
Dark.
Very dark. So the weather became overcast, which made it very dark, making it easier for Washington to get his men unsighted, so to speak, across the East River. And Kezia, what was the third?
Heavy fog came in at dawn.
Okay, and who did that help?
Helped Washington.
And his
Then get away.
1,000 soldiers that stayed behind to deceive the British. So be specific. So the third one is a dense fog came in, which allowed George Washington and his 1,000 men that stayed behind to deceive the British a chance to get across the East River. Very good. Okay, Taylor, this is a big one. How did Benedict Arnold save the revolution for the Continental Army on Lake Champlain?
He made 15 boats and then put them behind that place. And then,
Valcour Island.
And saw the British long enough to where they went back to camp.
That's right, that's exactly right. So what Arnold did is he had his men build 15 ships. He hid behind Valcour Island and engaged the British fleet that was coming from Quebec and just held them off so that winter came on and the rules of engagement stopped and they went back, the British that is, to Quebec. That's how he did it. Very good. Thinking I may be teaching you guys something. Okay, Lauren, by the time General Washington retreated across New Jersey and entered into Pennsylvania, how many soldiers remained with the Continental Army?
2,400 was that.
Very good. 24 times 100, right? 2,400, is that right? Okay. Siobhan, what British general was put in charge of keeping an eye on the American forces during December of 1776? A specific British general was put in charge of keeping an eye on the American forces. Who was it? some British general was given the order to keep an eye on the American forces during December of 1776. No, which British general was put in charge? He hired it out, so to speak, but who was actually in charge of keeping an eye on the American forces during December of 1776? It'd be weird to be named after a vegetable. A vegetable and one of four things in a room. You know, sometimes these walls really creep in on me. It makes me hungry for corn. General, what's his first name? Chuck. Charles Cornwallis. So understand that British General Charles Cornwallis was actually given the assignment of keeping an eye on Washington's forces. Now he, which is the next question for Cherith, what Hessian officer was stationed at Trenton, New Jersey with a force of 1,400 men to watch the movements of the Continental Army on orders of that British general? Johann Rall. Very good. And what was his position? Remember his rank?
Colonel.
Colonel. C-O-L period. Would be good. Colonel Johann Rall. Okay, Casey. What British spy provided General Washington with valuable information, allowing him the opportunity to win a decisive victory over the Hessian forces at Trenton?
John.
John Honeyman. Very good. Okay, Ivan, this is a tough one. We'll think about it. In the late afternoon of what day did General Washington initiate his surprise attack upon Trenton? Christmas Day. Very good. Okay, Washington had a three-pronged movement during his advance to Trenton. So, Caitlin, give me one of the three prongs and what they did.
Like, are you talking about like them going across the river?
Yeah, there were three different prongs.
Yeah, so Washington had a small group go directly across from Trenton.
Okay, did anybody catch how many that was on the video yesterday?
That's what happened.
Anybody catch it? 2,400. Okay, so that was one. Washington took 2,400 men, and he crossed the Delaware River directly across from camp.
I was talking about the 700
Oh, you
directly across from Trenton.
But you said Washington.
I said he sent 700.
Oh, he sent. Okay. Well, let's give her some credit here. So, okay, we'll go back. Washington sent 700 what? Troops, and they went across East River where?
Directly from Trenton.
Direct from Trenton. Excuse me, I did mess you up. I'll give you the second one. George Washington took 2,400 men and went across the Delaware River directly straight across from camp. And Harris, what was the third prong?
That is where the boats were 1,500 militiamen went like kind of down and kind of.
Downriver.
Yeah, down.
They went downriver and crossed, okay? Now, I hope you understand the difference between Continental Army and militia. Militia are not under the command of anyone, except for their militia leader, but they were helping the cause. So the three-pronged attack, again, was Washington ordered 700 soldiers to cross directly across the Delaware River, across from Trenton. Washington took 2,400 Continental Army, and he crossed the Delaware River right across from where they were camped, and then 700 militia crossed downriver across the Delaware towards Trenton. Okay, very good. Okay, Elise, what were the two options that General Washington had to ponder once he and his troops crossed the Delaware River and prepared for the assault on Trenton, knowing the other two prongs of the attack failed to cross?
They could turn around and pick it up.
They could turn around and go back, okay? Or,
Then they could press on and they could still fight them, they could be defeated because they
very good. So Washington had to ponder whether he was going to bag it and not get this victory he needed to save the revolution. Is he going to go big or go home? Instead of going home, he decided to go big and attacked. Okay? Read off for him. Okay, Maddie, what trouble did Washington run into shortly after he and his troops crossed the Delaware River?
Like, that you knew about, or not?
What's that?
Like, okay, so there's 5 that's on it, so
See, because there could really be two answers. The first trouble could be what?
that his men were.
His men weren't there. But the trouble I'm looking for is the trouble he didn't know about. So go ahead.
Okay, so a loyalist spy witnessed the crossing and then ran to tell Johann Rahl and the party at Trenton.
Okay, very good. Good way to stop there. Okay, Pete, what huge mistake did the Hessian colonel make regarding the trouble George Washington ran into, as mentioned in the question I gave Maddie? Didn't read the note that said what? Hey, have a nice day, get your head out of your butt. I mean, what line of the note said? Okay, what happened, the huge mistake the Hessian colonel made is he did not read the note, he simply put it in his pocket that stated that General Washington and the Continental Army were advancing upon Trenton. Okay, so be a little detailed there, okay? All right, or during the Battle of Bound Brook, which town in Connecticut was under siege? They were trying to find ammunition and supplies there, the British one. What was the town that was under siege? It was getting burned up as they were looking for those things. Danbury. Yeah, Danbury. D-A-N-B-U-R-Y. Danbury. Very good.
You spelled it wrong on the,
What's how does it spell?
you put it, you got the N.
That's what I was.
Oh, it's Danbury. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, you kept saying that, I was like, and I was like, are you sure? I was like.
D-A-N, Danbury, yeah.
At the end.
Okay, well, make sure you note that. Okay, Olivia, who is the heroine who saved the day during the Battle of Bound Brook because of her historical ride in New York, rounding up militia for her father?
Sybil Luddington.
Sybil Luddington, very good. Okay, Sage, I want you to describe to me the function of an American musket.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, he's not going to help you.
Yes, I guess.
Just
Okay.
describe the function of an American musket at this time in history.
Okay, so the musket was the one that, I'm trying to remember, it's the two.
Well, we're not gonna
Okay.
like take away your birthday or anything if you don't get it right. We're gonna correct you if you're wrong, but I think you'll be right.
Okay.
You've got a little bit of Caseyism in you, no confidence, self-esteem, baby. I know this answer. And it's like when you're refereeing a basketball game, okay? And Casey Wassam goes up to shoot, and you're not sure if she got fouled or not. So you call the foul, and it might not be right, but if you call it with enthusiasm and act like you were right, most people will think you were right. That's a secret in refereeing. Nobody can go, oh, I think it might have been a foul. You blow the whistle and you make it. You convince Casey she fouled when she knows she didn't.
That's how we're yelled at.
Oh no! If you act like you know your call, you won't get yelled at. You act like you don't know your call, and you'll hear it. The raspberries. Okay. Anyway, so you're making the call here. Let's hear it.
Okay, so, musket has a smooth barrel.
Okay.
The bolts are smaller, and like.
Smaller than the barrel.
Smaller than the barrel, but they didn't have very good accuracy, because.
Why?
The ball would like bounce around in there.
In the barrel. Yeah, very good. That was pretty good, actually. I'd give you about a 9 out of 10 on that. And I like the guy's analogy yesterday, if you're a baseball person. If you throw a knuckleball, the idea behind the knuckleball is when the pitcher throws a knuckleball, they have no idea really where that ball's going, because it moves all over the place. If you ever watch a knuckleball pitcher, you're hoping to get it in the strike zone, or you're hoping to have it do something weird, so the guy that swings at it misses it, because they do really strange things. They drop, whatever. If you're throwing a two-seam fastball, you've got a better chance of getting that in the spot than you do the knuckleball. It's going all over. So with that said, tell me, Mr. Garza, describe the mechanism of a Kentucky long rifle.
The barrel's longer.
Very good.
And the barrel is like spiraled, so it spins the.
It's grooved. That's what you call it. Yeah, it's grooved.
So it spins the bullet and goes out, so it's more accurate.
Absolutely. You don't get this bouncing around. It actually has grooves, and you saw in the gun where the bullet turns in the grooves and it comes out straight as an arrow, as long as you're pointing in the right direction. So my question to you again, Sage, is what was the purpose of an American musket in battle?
Oh, for volley?
Yeah, explain that whole thing to me.
Like just shooting shooting in a group?
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna throw 6 rocks at this class, and I don't know if one's gonna hit Ivan, but it might hit Taylor, because I mean, I'm gonna fling those rocks like a shotgun, they're just gonna go like this, right? So you fire volleys into a group, not hoping to hit any particular target, but hit something, okay? So, Josh, what is the Kentucky long rifle philosophy?
Just for one person to aim at.
Just you're aiming at one individual, and you're gonna be accurate that individual up to
100 to 300 yards.
100 to 300 yards, very good. God, that's awesome. All right, where am I at here? Okay, JC, can you explain to me who the Patriots' most famous sniper was in the Revolutionary War?
Timothy Murphy.
Timothy Murphy. And Dane, who was his target in history?
He was targeted, he was supposed to target, Simon Fraser.
Simon Fraser. And Dalton, what was the end result of his targeting of Simon Fraser? This is what I want a good answer.
What do you mean, like in the battle?
Yeah, what was the end result of his targeting?
Well-
First of all, he did what?
Well, he did actually end up shooting
And
and by
killing him.
yeah, and killing him.
Okay.
Andrew Gomez to the office, please. Andrew Gomez.
So the end result was he shot at Fraser, he hit Fraser, he killed Fraser, and
And by doing that, he destroyed like the British, like he just,
Morale.
yeah, morale, and it caused them to get like disfigured and not be able to like work as well.
and led to an American victory at Saratoga. Y'all get that? So the end result was he shot and killed Simon Fraser, which led to poor morale among the British soldiers, which led the Americans to victory at Saratoga. Ready? We're hoping so. I'm not counting my last dollar. Who was the British Army's most famous sniper in the Revolutionary War?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, Patrick Ferguson.
Patrick Ferguson. Let's have a hand for Brady. That's 2 today. Elliot, who was his target? And Delaney, what was the end result?
He couldn't shoot him because George turned his back, and he was, oh, I have an offer. And he might have won the war if he shot him, but no, too bad.
And so what did he try to do?
He tried to capture him, that didn't work out.
Okay, so Patrick Ferguson's known in history for the shot he didn't. Very good. Hey, throw it in there. Okay, all right. Caleb, at Valley Forge, how many American soldiers were trying to survive the brutal winter in 1777-78?
11,000.
11,000, very good. Emily, we're going to test your math skills. How many survived? How many survived? How many were killed? How many died? That's how I used to do it in 1974. How many survived? 8,500. Keep that in mind. You may test your math skills on this test. A little bit, what do they call that in education when you do that? Teaching across the curriculum. They go tell Mrs. Wiley. We're all over this teaching across the curriculum, okay? All right. Emily, did I pick on you? Tristan, here we go. Who led the Indian rescue party that saved George Washington's starving troops?
Oneida. What was his name?
Well, yeah, I'd like to know his name. And both of them. Han Yeri. Keisha, how'd he do that?
He brought food supplies, and it was,
No supplies.
he brought 600 bushels of white corn.
Very good. Not yellow corn, white corn. He brought 600 bushels of white corn to Valley Forge. Now, Taylor, Why in the world would he do that?
They thought they were gonna win and figured that it happened. The colonists would be better to strive if they were.
And she kind of fixed herself. She said, never use the nasty word they. He thought they would win. But then she did say, and thought the colonists would treat his tribe better than the British, right? So that's right. He had to pick sides. Now, Lauren, according to the video, where did most Indian tribes align? Because they thought they were going to win the war. Very good. So you had, you know, Native Americans against Native Americans in this type of thing, okay? All right, where are we at here? We're to Siobhan. Who was the man that was responsible for instilling good discipline into Washington's Continental Army? Who was that guy? No, that wasn't him. You go back. Go back to your notes a little bit. It wasn't him. He didn't train, he didn't instill the discipline. He helped train a little bit, but who instilled the good discipline into the man? And actually trained him into a professional army by the end of the winter. Don't be stupid. Yeah, that girl, Baron von Steuben. There you go. You could be a Rocky Mountain history, but you're here. She's thinking, I wish I was. Baron von Steuben. Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about Baron von Steuben, Sheriff.
He was an unemployed soldier of fortune searching for cause, which means he's a mercenary.
Mercenary, yeah. Very good. Where's he from?
Um,
Yeah, say it.
Prussia.
Prussia. Very good.